Hello classmates and hello teacher. Today we are going to make a comparison between our group and Catherine's group. So we are going to make a comparison between the chapters number 34 and chapter 35. So let's begin with the chapter 34. And we agree in the way in which Mr. Darcy sent to Elizabeth the letter. In that letter, Mr. Darcy expressed all the feelings that he had for her. But what happened? When Elizabeth received that letter, she was a little bit confused because if we remember in the other chapter, Mr. Darcy had treated her in a bad way. So she was confused because of that, and she didn't believe all the things that Mr. Darcy wrote to her. Now my classmate Christian is going to continue.
Now, another important point that also we have to discuss is the part where Elizabeth got Darcy's letter. We know that this letter contained the proposal of Darcy's to Elizabeth, and this letter didn't contain any bad thing. But there was a fight in that part between Darcy and Elizabeth because Darcy liked to bother Elizabeth because of her social condition and everything. Now, both groups decided to include this point because we considered that this point was important. Now, maybe a piece of advice for Catherine's group would be that maybe this point should have contained more information, more details about this fight. And now my partner Fidel is going to continue with the other important points.
So now I have to explain to you the chapter 35, and we agree with the other group about the day in which Elizabeth meets Darcy on her walk. We think that that was an important part in the book, but we think also that not only in the book but also in our diagrams, because the other group and our group included that part in the diagrams, and we think that it is important because Darcy gives Elizabeth a letter saying all the things that Wickham is, for example, all the lies he has told to many people. And as a group, we think that another important part is when Wickham is discovered as a liar and all those things that he has said. And I think, and we have to mention that the most important and the most relevant part for us from this chapter is when Darcy gives the letter to Elizabeth, because Elizabeth knows what Wickham is and how he behaves. I think that this chapter is so interesting for us, and we think that for the other group it was so interesting because we compared all those things that they wrote in their diagram and the things that we wrote, and we think that there are many similar things between our diagrams. And so this is all for me, and I hope you like this explanation of the chapter. And now Marvin is going to continue with the conclusion.
As a conclusion, if you could notice in our diagrams, we agreed with many things. For example, when the letter that Darcy sent to Elizabeth, and also when Wickham was discovered by Elizabeth. So I consider that we had many similarities in our diagrams, and just